All right, Chelsey, taking a look now at your week five first draft. And so let's see how you do with this. So you chosen to do yours, looks like, right, yours in the APA, but you want to make sure you're following the exemplar. The exemplar shows you exactly how you should be doing this. So notice in the exemplar that the title page should be by itself here, like its own page, just like it shows here. You move down the page a little bit for the title, and then you put this information here, and then your title. I know it doesn't show it here, but your title actually should be repeated here on this page again too. And then it gets into the actual paper itself. So let's see. So this should be on its own page up there. This should be in bold. And for the time management training and beat the clock, yeah, your title's actually good because it's a little more creative. It's more related to what you're going to be, what you're writing about. So I like that. I appreciate that. Now this again should be right here above the uh, this page or above the paper, above the essay, and then it should be on its own page. So page 2 is where I should see this. This also needs to be tabbed in. So like tab this in 5 spaces, just hit the tab key, put your cursor in front of the A there and hit the tab key. Each paragraph should be indented. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, let's see about the actual writing here. A lot of people today are trying to balance work, school, family. It gets overwhelming fast. Excuse me, some days. Okay, so here you need to actually tell your audience who she is. So right here in this introduction is where you should introduce the article by its full title and the author's name. So see the rubric for that. Again, the rubric shows you all this stuff that I'll be talking about, and that's what you need to use to make sure you're writing it well. I will attach the rubric over here to the bottom of the or to the, with the rubric. I mean, I'll attach the video, this video, and the exemplar with the rubric. Okay, so the exemplar is what I was trying to say. You need to use the exemplars. Okay. All right. She also says how time management training can help workers be more productive. But she doesn't. Okay, so you got the negative in there, and that's good. Your thesis statement's not bad, but again, you got to weave it all together the way it shows you in the exemplar. So you really, really got to use the exemplar, okay, especially with the final project, because all this stuff's not going to hurt you so much in this example, in this paper, this version, but it will cost you more if you have these errors in the final project. Okay, so make sure you take note of that. All right, the topic. Okay, now you're doing something, you do something that a lot of students do. What you're doing is you're trying to write to the rubric, and you're not supposed to try to write to and satisfy the rubric. You're supposed to use the rubric after you've written the whole paper. You're supposed to use the exemplar to write the paper, and then use the rubric to make sure you touched on all this stuff, covered all these things properly. So you need to go back and you rewrite this so that it's following the rubric, and then but it does include the topic, the genre, something that leads your audience to understand what the genre is. And the way to make sure you're doing that right again is to look at this and just let this parts in bold tell you what it's doing. So like for example here, just with the words, just with these 2 parts here, by 2030 tells you here the historical and cultural context. Says the article in the current time, and even forward thinking, right? Um, and the potential technological impacts. So that's the culture and technology culture, right? So this is what you need to do. You need to use this to write your paper, and you let it show you how to incorporate these things like the topic and the culture and history and audience purpose, subject, all that stuff. Let this show you how to do it. Okay, you've got to use that. And again, I will provide that, attach that here for you. All right. So let's see, what else? Okay. So you, technically speaking, see, this is why I'm saying that this grade won't factor in as bad as the project will. Because this one, you're doing it. In other words, I can't say you didn't put the topic because you have it. But in the final project, it's going to be the way you incorporate it and how you incorporate it well, more properly according to the exemplar. So you have the genre, you have the topic, you have the purpose. See, basically, a lot of students do this, so I'm never surprised when I see this. But basically, what you're doing here amounts to just simply providing answers to this list in a paragraph form. That's really all you're doing, and that's obviously that's not quite what we're looking for. We're looking for you to do a better job of weaving it together and making it look like an essay rather than a sort of stream of consciousness type of writing like this is, where you're just basically answering the different prompts here at different points asked for in the rubric. Okay, so you've got those things. Just need to work a little bit on how you incorporate them better. Here's your historical and culture context. Audience purpose. So like I said, you got all these, so you're going to end up with a really good grade here, but it's not going to be so. It is going to be much different when you do the final project. Okay. Details. See, details are in the body of the paper. So let's see if you get any details here. So you're not really incorporating any details yet. Now here's where you touch on it, but like most of the people who do it this way, you're really only providing like one detail, and then you're providing a source citation to back it up, and then here's another thing that you talk about. She doesn't say how the training. Now this looks like it might be the incorporation of the negative. Like I told you, all you need to have a negative or an issue, a problem with the article. And so that's good. That you can refer to that as a weakness, and that would be okay in covering that. But again, you got to weave it all together in a better way. So because of the way you've done that, you don't really have enough details or evidence for me to really give credit to it, because you should have like probably 2, 3, 4 details throughout the body paragraphs, and each one of those details should be backed up with us by a source or by a quote from the source as an evidence from the article. And then your conclusion here, she explains how time management training helps workers, but she doesn't go into real life problems there. So that's good. You are incorporating the negative, and that's great. Communication could be a little clearer if it were actually written the way it's supposed to be. So that's another negative there. Your citations are missing the page number, so you should, whenever you have a citation, you should have Tyler, comma, 2003, comma, and then a page number, which would be P period, and then a number like 3 or page 4 or whatever it is. Or if you don't have page, well, you should have page numbering, so you just use page number. Okay, and you just use P period and then the number. And that should be in each citation for the 2 or 3 or 4 paragraph, or 2 or 3 source citations you should end up with throughout the whole paper. Okay, here you have a little I, lowercase I, so be careful about things like that. Tyler's idea is good, so that should be apostrophe S, her idea, Tyler's. Your reference page should be on the next page by itself, and the references should be in bold and should be centered on the page, and then the entry itself should be hanging indented. So you want to fix all those things and make sure that you provide your a good product in the project in week 7. Please remember that in week 7 you will have 2 parts. Part 1 will be this draft that you fixed. Part 2 will be this same draft reworded and revised to fit a second different audience. Okay, so all right, that will do it for this video. If you have questions or anything, just let me know.